Are you guys hungry for more Half-Life related mods like Signal Lost? Well, I got one for you right here, even though maybe it's not entirely Half-Life related at all. Technically, it doesn't even run on Gold Source, but on the Zash 3D engine. But I want to talk about it nonetheless, because when I saw media for it being shared on our Discord server, which you can join by clicking the link in the description by the way, I was immediately intrigued. I'm talking about TimeWarp, a mod that was recently announced over on ModDB, and as you can tell, it doesn't quite look like your standard Half-Life romp. So, let's get into it.
LambdaGeneration.
TimeWarp is a project created by mod maker and artist Cambreaker that runs on the Zash 3D engine, which is a reverse-engineered Gold Source engine that allows way more flexibility and gives mod creators the ability to add new gameplay and graphical features much more easily. This same engine powers Half-Life Year of the Dragon and Signal Lost as well. TimeWarp is a wholly original story not set in the Half-Life universe. It will have its own characters, art style, weapons, and much more. The art style being very anime/manga inspired. Kinda reminds me of those classic PlayStation 1/2 era Japanese games. Like, I used to play this game called Metropolis Mania 2 on the PlayStation 2 back in the day, and for some reason I had to immediately think of that game. It's not even super close actually upon further inspection, but it's just a core memory that suddenly unlocked for me. Man, I put so many hours into that game. Its one song is still stuck in my head to this day. TimeWarp has been in development for a few months so far, and Cambreaker already has a bunch of things to show for it, like a whole announcement post and a whole bunch of screenshots. I have even received some early gameplay footage that you can see in the background right now. But before we go into all of that, let me talk about the story first. You wake up in the middle of an underground experimentation facility with absolutely no recollection of who you are, where you are, and how you even got there. But there is one thing that you do know: that you have to get out of here. Luckily, the AI of the facility has gone rogue. Yeah, luckily. It's actually a good thing this time. It wants to help you escape, but under two conditions. You gotta decommission the facility and tell everyone on the surface about what's been happening in here. Yeah, I think that's pretty realistic. You soon realize that you have been used for time-traveling experiments, as you have to hop from time period to fight off enemies. That's probably why this project is called TimeWarp. And you have to keep doing this until you're finally free. And that's kind of all we know about the story so far. I feel like there are still a couple of missing bits of information, but I'm sure we'll be getting those later on in this project's development. I'm sure the story hasn't been fully locked down yet either. Alright, now that we got the main story out of the way, let's talk about the official announcement post that was posted on January 29th of this year. Obviously, it starts off with the introduction of the project. I've just done that earlier in the video, so we're going to skip that here. Further along, it talks about the project's main gimmick aside from its unique art style being time travel. You'll be hopping from time period to time period fighting enemies that belong in that time period. Each one of those time periods will have its own weapon or weapons to shoot people in the face with. And you can bring those weapons with you into other time periods to shoot those people in the face with weapons that they don't even recognize. What a way to go! But apart from its time traveling feature, the art style is also what really drew my attention, and you can see that best from these images that are included in the announcement post. Screenshots 1 and 2, for example, show this lava-filled cave with the lava and cave walls being highly stylized. Better not touch that lava. The third screenshot shows two Half-Life grunts breaking through a skylight inside what seems to be a space office building belonging to a game studio. These grunts have already been replaced by more fitting character models, by the way. I'll get to that in a bit. Screenshot number 4 shows what seems to be the lobby of this game studio with a holographic logo hovering behind the reception desk. And screenshot 5 shows a hallway with a robot lady suspended in some kind of holding cell. We'll get to her in a bit too. Also, notice the reflections on the floor. Sure can't see default Gold Source handling these, now can we? Now that we went through the map screenshots, we got some characters to look at as well. First off, allow me to introduce Detectives Campbell and Peters, two detectives with a trigger finger who will be helping you during one of your time travel sessions. And hey, here we have that robot lady again I said we'd be getting back to. That was fast. Apparently, this is Jay, the AI that has gone rogue who has inserted themselves into the body of this robotic woman. Pretty cool design. And the other character model is Patient88, aka the player. Yep, that's you, and you have a robot eye. And you're bald. Seriously though, these character models ooze with style. Really heavily anime inspired, and honestly you don't see that too often in Half-Life mods, even though some elements in Half-Life itself has been inspired by anime, or manga to be precise. Lastly, Chembreaker talks about that the mod will have a large focus on story. A few cutscenes are even being considered to tell the story alongside scripted gameplay sequences. It's also being mentioned here that the mod won't be super long either. He's currently aiming for around 1 or 2 hours, and he's put boundaries in place to make sure that the project doesn't suffer from feature/scope creep so that it remains more manageable to complete this. The project is also obviously still in very early development. Everything you see right now is subject to change, and any weird glitches you may see in this footage will most likely be fixed when the time comes to release this. It takes a lot of time and effort to do these things, people. It's also worth mentioning that a bunch of extra content can be found in the images section of the ModDB page as well. We got some extra map screenshots right here, as well as models for the enforcers that will be replacing the Half-Life grunts that you saw in one of the screenshots earlier. This gameplay footage that I got already shows that they're replaced as well, by the way. It looks a little bit glitchy still though, but hey, it's early development footage, so cut the project some slack, eh? So that's kind of it for TimeWarp. For now. I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting a lot more screenshots and news about the project in the coming months, so make sure you keep an eye on the ModDB page and Chembreaker's Twitter. There is also an official TimeWarp Discord server which you can join to get development news, screenshots, and even videos as soon as Chembreaker wants to show them. So if this project got you all excited, be sure to join in. What do you think of TimeWarp? Is this a ha 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 yes? Or is this a no, nope, I don't want this? Be sure to let me know in the comments. I'll be reading them. Oh boy, will I be reading them. Maybe I'll even read them twice. Really depends on my mood. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm going to try and get this Metropolis Mania 2 song out of my head. It's been plaguing me for too long. It's so freaking catchy though!